All right, good morning. We got space sector updates this morning for the month of March. We're beginning in Orange County, California with Anduril. On March 11th, Anduril acquired ExoAnalytic. So, a little background here. ExoAnalytic is a space surveillance private sector market vendor. So, a lot of words, all that to say commercial entity that provides data to Spacecom on the current status of objects on orbit around Earth. So, pretty bland statement, right? But what's actually insane here is that Anduril, with this acquisition, marked a tremendous step for that company as they move into the space sector. So, ExoAnalytic more than doubled Anduril's size in the space defense sector. Originally, they had 120 employees focusing on Golden Dome updates, some R&D developments with payload sensors and infrared imaging sensors in space. The ExoAnalytic acquisition marks a move towards the SSN, and Anduril had previously been selected for some SSN contracts that we'll dive into now. But Exo's sensor disposition, as displayed here, gives Anduril a hardware advantage across the globe, but also doubles their manning. So they have a manpower advantage here too. So this is awesome stuff from Anduril. Now, what exactly were the reasons for this merger? That's the main question. I think we can point to two main development reasons here for Anduril's business model. Hypothesis number one is the space surveillance network. So Anduril in 2024 was selected as the main developer and was awarded the contract to develop a new space surveillance data aggregation tool. So it sounds super boring and once again pretty bland, but looking into this problem below the surface level, you kind of understand that this is a very dramatic issue that Spacecom and the greater Space Force need to solve soon and rapidly. So ultimately, the issue is the SSN, the Space Surveillance Network, is fed by a global array, a global architecture of radars, of RF telescopes, of optical telescopes, and these sensors in general are operated by the government, yes, but they're also a lot of these sensors, and I would even say the majority of these sensors are operated by commercial entities, or they're operated by other government agencies that don't necessarily care about the space sector. So the data is the sensors aren't solely dedicated towards serving the SSN. So it's a big issue, especially when you consider that we have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of satellites coming on orbit here in the very near future. So Spacecom's problem was twofold. One, they had a plethora of sensors created across decades that have all these different types of data. That data needed to be aggregated into one place so that one operator could understand it and paint an intelligence and warning picture of what was going on above. Problem number two, our suite of sensors was not dedicated to space surveillance. So what Anduril is doing here is, one, they were already awarded the data aggregation contract to solve issue number one, but this ExoAnalytic contract gives them a solution to problem number two. So now they have a global, right, with their global architecture, I'll go back here, with their global architecture of sensors across Australia, North America, South America, Africa, Europe, and the Pacific, they have an ability to solve that dedicated sensor gap for the SSN, giving them a passive revenue stream, I think, for the long term that will be pretty lucrative. So they're vertically integrating here into the SSN. Hypothesis number two, and I think business development model that will be more high impact and faster pace than the SSN, is the Golden Dome. So in 2025, Anduril was selected as one of 6 companies to begin on starter contracts for space-based missile interceptors that would provide a kinetic kill option for any adversary ICBM or satellite that was engaging in a dangerous or adversary hostile activity in space. So that's an easy ask, right? You build this interceptor, it's a satellite, you just make a big metal object that can hit another metal object in space. Too easy, right? Well, the thing is, it's not. And Anduril is getting after this massively complex problem by introducing a ground-based architecture that can help the satellite in space differentiate what is a target, what isn't a target, and where it needs to be at what time to make sure that suspicious object isn't a threat. So it's doing that with ExoAnalytics ground-based architecture. And I think we could see Anduril expand its architecture way past what Exo currently has. According to Anduril Vice President and Space Department Head Gokul Subramanian, Anduril is absolutely looking to maintain and expand Exo's sensor disposition. So I think we can see an expanse past the optical realm into radar, and we can also see an expanse of their footprint across the world. See a big expansion into, for example, more of northern North America, but really Asia. I think that's the big piece here that's left unfilled. So that is going to make Anduril a very marketable option for the Pentagon moving forward for the space-based missile interceptor program. So that's high impact, but then also you got this long-term SSN passive revenue stream. So Anduril is absolutely moving into the space domain pretty quickly and in a very big way with this ExoAnalytic acquisition. Moving forward into BAE Systems and Boeing, Millennium Space Systems. So BAE and Boeing have teamed up to create EPOC, which is a medium Earth orbit based OPIR constellation. So hanging out between 2,000 and 20,000 kilometers above Earth's surface, medium Earth orbit offers some interesting compromises between low Earth orbit, right up close to the Earth's surface, where the ISS is, and geosynchronous Earth orbit, where a lot of our traditional SATCOM, think iDirecTV or Intelsat, Eutelsat, things like that, where those satellites are hanging out. MEO, you can get a bigger picture, but you also are moving in space in relation to the Earth's surface. So you can see eventually all of the globe, whereas LEO obviously can't. So altogether, we'll have OPIR satellites covering launch detection and missile warning from all of these orbital regimes. BAE and Boeing are focusing on MEO. Epoch 1 is created by Boeing and is past the design phase. Will be launching in late 2026. BAE, in the news this week, is that Epoch 2 has passed the preliminary design review and is leaving the paper stage very soon. So it's in the final, more detailed design phases now and will enter manufacturing hopefully very soon. Epoch 2 will be 10 satellites launching in 2029 and will join Boeing's Epoch 1 tranche of 12 satellites that, like I said earlier, is launching in 2026. So that's a big move. We are building out the space portion of Golden Dome very quickly, and I can't believe how fast the space sector is moving. We just got news this week, late March 2026, that NASA is ditching its lunar gateway, and it's moving forward on a dedicated, continuously manned space base, which is massive news for space exploration. If we have a space base, then in space, data processing sites, and thinking about AI here, but also space-based manufacturing. And then obviously moving further into our solar system, launching from the moon instead of from Earth, and all of the consequences that Earth's gravity have. I mean, this is it. Like this is the one massive leap that is going to enable so much space development, and it's coming up very soon. And then all of the implications that space defense that has for space defense, right? If there's Americans on the moon, the goal of the defense architecture is to defend Americans. So I could imagine space surveillance, space intelligence, space defense satellites orbiting the moon. I mean, as dystopian as the future that is, if there's Americans there, we have a duty to protect them. So, just some crazy news coming up here. Anyway, that's the month of March. We will come back at you with month of April space sector updates here very soon.